Okay, so you come in your car and you turn on your headlights, and instead of seeing your lights come on like so, you see nothing. It's dark. Except for all those little emergency indicators like a door is open, or, you know, the check engine light, all the idiot lights and so forth. But all your interior lights are dark, and your tail lights are out. So, what's the problem? Let's go take a look. There's something called a TNS relay, which is, first of all, probably not the problem, but we're going to look there anyway. And key into this. We'll charge this up. Sorry, a little bit of noise. Okay, so here on a 2001 Kia Rio, you're going to have fuse box under the hood. And under number 34, which is easy to find because it's going to be the first relay right here, bottom left, adjacent to all these fuses. It's called the TNS relay. And that handles your tail lights, your interior lights, these marker lights. So not your headlights, not the low and high beam, just those little side marker lights right over here. And on the rear. So if you put your finger on it and turn the switch and activate the switch inside, you should feel this go on and off. It will click. If I pull it off, you'll see those go out, as well as all the other lights inside and out will go out. So first thing check is relay. Check that. And also the wiring underneath here, it gets really hot. And it can also be that some of the wires are loose beneath there. But if you have a 2001 Kia Rio, as this one is, let's get off that annoying beep. If this is your car, then that's probably not your problem. And if you have many other cars, that's probably not your problem. Again, only if both the lights here and those lights in the rear are out. You probably have the daytime running lights. If you have a Canadian car, by Canadian law, you must have daytime running lights, which is usually just the low beam. That's actually, I think it actually runs off the high beam circuit, I believe, but we're splitting hairs, who cares? This keeps your lights on during the daytime at all times. The second the engine is turned on, the ignition is on, those lights are supposed to come on. And they run all day and all night. Great. Only problem is, there's often a problem with it and they overheat. So, on the Kia. Okay, so back in the car, your daytime running light module. Down by the kick panel, brake pedal or clutch pedal. If you move your way up here, you'll see computer number 1 in your way, computer number 2 in your way, and then you'll see a bracket over here, and I'm pointing right to the bottom of the bracket, and there's that little hole where the bolt goes through, which I think is like a 10mm or an 8mm. And there's another one, way at the top, there's a green relay right there, and just above that green relay is a hole where there is yet another little bolt, and again, you're going to need like a 1/4-inch ratchet with a short extension, like a little 3-inch extension, or a deep socket will handle it. I would think it was a 10mm deep socket, and that fit in there quite nicely. It wasn't that bad to get to at all. And I'll just, so for reference here, I'll just try and wiggle this bracket around so we know what we're talking about. This is the whole thing, and as you can see, some are on the outside. The guys down here, they were on the inside, and they're just sort of friction fits. I mean, they're just kind of, they pull out. And the first couple are not so bad to pull out. The problem is, this one is back and to the left. It sounds like a JFK thing, back and to the left. But it is, it's right at the very back here. In other words, towards the rear of the car, when looking at this bracket, not towards the front tire. And at the very top is where you're going to find it, right behind this green one here. Obviously, it's been taken out from this one and not replaced. Point being, even with this replaced, as you can see from this nice big group of wires in the way that will not move, not fun to get to. It's a matter of sneaking your hand up behind here, pulling out one at a time. First you're going to get the smaller one with the little blue top, then you're going to get the next size one, and then you're going to get your daytime running light module out. And when you do, you're going to get this thing about the size of a pack of cigarettes, and you can see right there, it's that nice little blister mark from heat. This thing has overheated, and there's the problem. Overheats. Here's the guy that slides right out. As you can see, I kind of butchered this. I cut it right open because who cares, right? I mean, the car's 15 years old. So I cut this out and just slides right in there. try and demonstrate that. But if you got this far, I don't think you'll need that. It'll be tucked away in here. I shouldn't say it just slides right in, because it was really hard to get out. So what I actually did was kind of pried the plastic sides open to give it some extra room, and then pulled this out. Because you want to be careful with the board. You don't want to break the circuit board. So, that little black guy right here, he's the troublemaker. And if you flip it over, but you can even see the heat damage right there, right? That's really obvious. And underneath, you see those 2 solder marks right above my thumb? So all you do is you reheat those. The solder will start to turn soft again until it's nicely covered. So I kind of started with one edge, the top edge, heat it up, let it flow down. Then I turned it like this so gravity would flow downwards. Heat up the next edge and the next edge, or you can just take a little piece of solder with you. I didn't have any. I just let the solder that was on here do its own work by reconnecting. Basically right in the middle here, it's like a little connector, and it was missing some solder around there. It heated up so much it sort of burned its way out of that soldered joint. So all you're doing is just resoldering this joint real nicely. You don't have to get it real hot. Just touch it with a soldering iron, warm it up, just get nice and soft, roll it around, make sure it covers the whole thing. You'll be golden. Just these 2 right here, and anyone else that you see happens to be really burnt, now is probably the time. But I was fine with that. I've just recooked those 2. I slid it back in the little guy here, the casing. Slid it back in its casing. I plug it back in. I plugged it back in. And everything's been fine. It's been about 1 month now. I would, however, highly suggest that you at least go to a wrecking yard and rip out a couple of these things, because, I mean, still a lady at the front, it's a relay, because that's pretty much what it is. I mean, it's a fancy relay. And, you know, what, $5-6 for a used one, or go to eBay. That would be ideal if you can get a replacement part brand new. However, I don't know how much they actually have on eBay that's actually new to fit this car. You'll probably end up getting a used part again. Point is, once you have a used one with you and you know where to find it, it's a pretty quick, easy change. Not easy, I mean, it's not fun to get to, but at least you'll know what to do if this solder joint fails again and you just can't get it going again. So that concludes that, and we'll stop it right here.